Great. So hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today on your lunch break. I do hope that you're all really well today. So first of all, I just want to say a really, really big welcome back to anyone that's joined me before. I know it's been a while, but it's so great to be here again talking to you all. And what I would like to say as well is that it's not just me today. I'm joined by the lovely Ellie, who is our product marketing genius here at Birdie. Ellie, would you mind just saying a quick hello?
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here.
Great. Well, we can all hear Ellie loud and clear. So what I'm going to do is move on and just go through what you can expect from today's session. So we'll be running this webinar for about 40 minutes with 10 minutes for questions at the end. I'll be running you through the ways the CQC guidance has changed, focusing on the new advice around digital record systems. And then I'm going to pass you over to Ellie, who's going to talk all about how the right system can help you to achieve all of the CQC recommendations and hopefully, as the point of this webinar is, to help you get the CQC rating that you deserve. And of course, as promised, I'll also be sharing our CQC ebook at the end of the session. It's a full guide to the new changes and how you can meet them with actionable checklists and key information. I wrote it myself, so I do hope it helps. And please do send me your feedback once you've downloaded it. Or if you think there's anything I've missed, I'll be happy to help. And if you're watching this back at a later date, the link is also going to be included just underneath this video. Great, so let's get started. First question, why are we holding this webinar? Well, since the COVID-19 outbreak, the CQC has been continually releasing guidance, from halting inspections altogether to their emergency support framework to the new transitional regulatory approach and even virtual inspections. There has been a lot to take in. Now, I'm not going to be speaking specifically about all of the new updates because, well, we'll be here until 2021. But as I mentioned, I will be sharing the ebook at the end, and of course it'll be in the links just under this video too, and also in the follow-up email. Now, as you can see on screen, these are just a few of the guidance changes that we have seen since the start of COVID-19, and it's been really difficult to keep up with the constant changes. And these changes haven't just come from the CQC, they've come from the government. You know, we're on top of all of the new infection prevention and control, and the CQC essentially has been trying to keep aligned with that. And that's why things have been changing so frequently. Now, what we do know is that a lot of our partners feel completely in the dark about what to expect from the CQC at the moment. You know, they're not sure which KLOEs they're going to be rated on, if their rating is going to change, how they're going to be inspected, and all of that is in the ebook. But what I really wanted to focus on is some of the groundbreaking guidance that they've just released on the 28th of September. Now, just to get this little GIF in here for you, that is how we are all feeling at the moment. I'm sure you'll all agree. Now, as I just mentioned, I want to talk to you today about digital record systems. Now, quite a few of our partners got in contact with us when the CQC announced the guidance because they wanted to see how Birdie adhered to this. And I'm really, really excited to say that today we're going to explain exactly how we match up. And we're going to also explain how you can hit those KLOEs as well. So the first thing to cover is, what is a digital record system? Well, you're already keeping records. You do this every day with your MAR charts, your care logs, and your call monitoring. And a digital record system simply means keeping these records digitally rather than on paper. Now, Birdie is a really good example of a digital record system. And while we call ourselves care management software, it's essentially the same thing. So don't worry about that. Now, on this slide, you can see some benefits which haven't come from me. I haven't made them up myself. They're not Birdie benefits. They are CQC benefits as outlined in their guidance directly. And why I really wanted to flag this is because this guidance really is a direct response to the problems that they've been facing and, you know, that care businesses have been facing when it comes to auditing when they work with paper. Now, it is a little bit of a turnaround for the CQC. Previously, they've never really endorsed software systems, although, you know, we did see some articles where they decided they can help, and we've seen some reports where, you know, software systems have been highlighted. But this was really the first time they've released specific guidance about using digital software and what that looks like for you. And what we do know is that COVID-19 has had a massive impact on tech adoption. And it seems that now the CQC are also going that way. They're adopting more tech-enabled ways of working, which means that we have to as well. So really, the CQC have really, for a while, really struggled with being able to prove an audit trail. And that means that your previous inspections would last days. They would require hours and hours and hours of trawling through old paperwork, producing tons of information. And quite often, we weren't even really sure what they were doing with it. So the point of that was, well, the CQC, they don't just want to see how you run your business day to day. They don't just want to know that your clients are happy. They want to see a log of everything, and they want to see how you use it to improve. And that's the key factor here. They know that things go wrong. They know that errors and mistakes happen. But what they're really interested in is how you respond to these issues and what you've learned, and crucially, how you document them, which can be super hard on paper. And in their new guidance, they're explaining how they're going to use digital record systems to make it easier for you to prove that, and also for them to see this information. And while they're primarily concerned with the quality of your care, they've listed some key benefits that can help you, help you improve that quality and also help you keep a track, of all of your audit trails. And the key things that you can see here that I've highlighted in red, there's quite a few, so I won't go through them all. But you can see, it's about seeing things happen in real time, helping you respond faster. It's about minimizing your risk. It's about access to your records and doing everything effectively and efficiently to really save you time. And the CQC, they're now realizing these benefits of digital records on both not just the quality of the care you provide, as you can see from some of the benefits there, but also it's for both parties so that, you can make these CQC audits a lot easier. And while they aren't forcing providers to go digital, using a care management software to help log your care records is now being recognized as a really huge benefit for both partners, for both parties. So for you, the CQC, and really, of course, it's all about your clients too. So what I really wanted to highlight was just this little piece of information that's from the guidance directly. Again, it's not my words, it's not Birdie's words, it's come from the CQC. And what they said is the new approach means they'll request more information from providers in a digital format. Crucially, this includes inspectors asking for access to digital care records when they're not on site. And why is that important? Well, as we've mentioned, you're not going to receive a lower rating for not being digital, but we're not sure how long that's going to last. So if you are already using a digital system, you can expect your inspectors to start asking for care records digitally, which means they might not even have to visit your premises when it comes to your inspection. We're already hearing that some partners that we work with have been inspectors, and these inspections have been far, far shorter. And then they've had follow-up calls, they've had requests for information sent afterwards, and that's in line with the CQC transitional regulatory approach, and that's something that Birdie fully supports. Now, I will share the guidance with you and some in-depth detail into how Birdie meets this guidance. And of course, you'll have access to all of those links. But I hope from what I've just been talking about, I've set the scene for today. Now, if any questions that we have about this, they'll be answered in the ebook, most likely, because they'll be specific to the guidance. And of course, guidance is constantly changing. And as of where we are today on the 23rd of October, this has been correct. But of course, your main port of call should be the CQC for anything that is changing. But for now, this is where they're heading. And this is, of all the webinars we've listened into, all of the talks, this is kind of the situation for the CQC right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Ellie, and she is going to tell you all about how Birdie can help. So Ellie, please, if you don't mind, I will guide you through the slides, but please do take it away.
Thank you very much. Well, okay, we can go to the next slide. Fabulous. Okay. Hello. Thank you, Emily. So now we're going to look at the product, the Birdie product, to show you how we've built it using the CQC guidelines to illustrate just how deep their criteria runs into the way we've built the product today. We have a mix of Birdie users and some non-Birdie users in attendance to this session. So I'm going to start with a little introduction of who we are, what exactly it is that we do, and then give some details of some features. So helps if I also move on. This I just want to start with is our brand promise. I wanted to share it with you today because I think it's something that really means so much to us here at Birdie. The team cares extraordinary amounts about ensuring that the product we develop and build, the account support, the onboarding and training, the resources sharing, just like this webinar, of the highest quality. We see every agency as a partner, and we care extraordinarily because you guys do too. Now, this is what we call the care circle. It's got the care recipient right at the heart of it, and around the outside are the important care areas that you need to provide. And that's what our product helps with. So we start with the assessment of care, then the planning, the delivery, and then where improvements on the care can be made, what needs changing. And surrounding the outside of the whole function is informing. How do you interact and share information with care managers and to care recipients? How do care managers share information to family members, local authorities, and district nurses? So that's what the Birdie Care Circle is. And then there are 3 main parts to our product. First, you have the agency hub, which is the beating heart of your care coordination. Care managers will use this to assess, plan, and monitor the care that's being provided. It's the all-seeing eye of your care agency's day-to-day running. It's cloud-based, so it requires a login, but you can access your account from any computer and there's no downloading of software. Then you've got the carer app. This is what your carers will use to access, to complete their care visits every day. It's a guide to show them who they are seeing, check in, what tasks need to be completed, medications, and allow them to, in real life, monitor an older adult instantly feeding back information to the care manager in the hub. It's also able to be used offline in case of issues of signal, and that means that then they can continue with all tasks and it will update once you're back in the signal area. Then finally, you've got the family app, which, as you'd expect, provides insights to loved ones to know how they are getting on. Now, as Emily mentioned, and at the heart of this webinar is about digital record sessions. So Emily gave us the CQC recommendations, but I want to start by illustrating to you all exactly how the Birdie product is entirely a digital record system for your care. It's robust, future-proof, and innovative. And because it's built by passionate experts, caring people, some parts might feel a little techie, but I'll work to give you examples to give context. And if you have any further questions about the makeup of our product, we'll be super duper happy to explain any tech anytime. So, data protection by design. We all know how important GDPR is, and let's be honest, paper systems are a GDPR nightmare. So we don't ask or collect personal data unless it's absolutely necessary. All of our systems are built to meet the latest regulations. I'm going to put my glasses on. I've got to stop trying to read without glasses. Latest regulations. To do so, we followed the ICUO recommendations, and we have a dedicated data privacy officer to oversee and advise on our data management. We fully comply with GDPR and Data Protection Act 2018, and this is detailed in our data privacy policy and our data processing agreement, and those are all accessible via the website. Where possible, we process anonymized data. For example, all data processed by the hardware data pipeline is anonymized. This means the data is consolidated at the application level. So we then have the single sign-on, which is all about security of how you log into our app. Our applications use the same authentication layer. All access to Birdie is secure with a login through a one-time authentication link or two-factor authentication. We also allow permissions within the app to be set for you and your staff. For example, only carers who've been invited by the care provider can access the care recipient's information. And just to note, we are currently undertaking the NHS assurance processes to allow us to connect to the NHS data sources, for example, GP Connect. And we're open. Our platform is set up to be fully interoperable, which means we're able to exchange and make use of different information. We use open APIs, which means information is publicly available application programming interface. Please stick with me on that. This means we've built the product to enable other pieces of software to work with it, and data standards suitable for integration with other health and care providing services and applications. Now, it can get very technical, but we do have some agencies that use our open API to extend Birdie. But here are a couple of examples. This means that one agency has built a custom rostering integration, and then we connect to them. And another has a custom data explorer to help with their billing process. It's really good to imagine it like Birdie as a dock, and you guys are ships coming in with different software. We have made ourselves completely open and operable so that we can dock with any type of different boat. I think that's a simpler way of looking at it. So interoperability is part of our DNA, so it makes sense for us to invest in our integrations. Now, some other companies would choose not to do this given the engineering costs because of just how complicated it can be, but we do this totally for free because we believe that this is the right thing to do for the industry and our customers, and it saves you guys a lot of time, really promotes a transparent, holistic approach that we think so needed in care. We have already got integrations with most existing rostering solutions for home care. What this means is that our system works both with theirs and yours, and so if you make a new client in your rostering software, for example, it'll automatically be created in Birdie, and the data flows both ways. And your carers then only need to use our app to see all this information. In addition to that, we also have our autocomplete list of medications, which you'll see in the medication manager, instead of blank free text fields, which which in the case of most other email solutions out there isn't the case. This is because we've integrated standard data sets from the NHS within our product. This is also why we're able to tell you specific details about the medication via the BNF, which I'll show you in a bit. Now, moving on to golden data, which is a word that I really love the name of personally. Golden data is the modern event-driven architecture. It's about delivering real-time information at any scale. It's the foundation that Birdie uses, and it's called immutable events log. And this is a source of truth for the entire platform state. Every change is audited and can be explained. So what does this mean to you, I hear you ask? It means audit trails. It means evidence-based decisions and changes. Every update to a medication, every alert is logged so that when the CQC come knocking, all the information is right in front of you and directly links to the effect of Chloe. We've built the product so that when you need to make changes, which of course you do and always do, it's not deleting the history, which the CQC would obviously question. We know the CQC cares a lot about how you mitigate against an error happening again, much more than any kind of expectation that mistakes will never happen. And just to finish up this section, we are modular. We pride ourselves on being flexible, responsive partners, and we understand that the right solution needs to fit different circumstances and different software providers that are already in place. Whether it be visit rostering, call monitoring, case management, or billing, we can work with you to design the right solution to make our two systems work together. Okay, that bit is over. Phew, thank you so much for sticking with me on that. I know it's hard when things like tech isn't your first language. It isn't mine, it isn't either else. And the prospect of the CQC putting emphasis on this can seem all a bit daunting, but we're super confident in digital and we're absolutely mad for it. So let us be your care consultants, hear your problems and show you how our product can provide the solution. Now, I just want to put in front of us all the CLOEs as a quick reminder before we move into the specific feature areas. Safe, effective, caring, responsive, and well-led. And I'll go through them as I link through the product. So the features that we're going to cover are assessments, medication manager, alerts manager, and about me, which is coming soon. It's going to be a little surprise and delight about looking at this first, getting a first look at the about me tool, which I'm really excited to show you guys today. So assessments. To date, we have 16 different types of assessments available on the hub. Our assessments link directly to the SAFE Chloe, specifically S2. How are people assessed and risks mitigated? The assessments range from personal care to social support, workload, psychological, and our team spends lots of time gathering feedback from clients to design the most concise and yet comprehensive set of assessments for you. What I love about this feature is the evergreen nature of it. We're always looking at what else we might need to add, and this is a great example of how we work in partnership with our agencies. They tell us what's happened, and we design accordingly. When designing a new assessment, our team rigorously assesses the CQC and NICE guidelines to ensure they're detailed, accurate, and hitting the criteria outlined from the regulatory standards. So let's jump in and show you the product. Starting on the agency hub, you can see all of the care plans, and you can see all the 16 plans in front of you. And as you scroll down, you can see the little green ticks means that there's been an assessment completed for that. And we're going to start by going into everyday activities. So click into that, and you can see that I completed an assessment. So then you can see what date it was. You've got the assessment date, the assessor, and then you've got all the different areas, so everyday activities. And I've listed all this information about Adam, whether he needs help, fall and mobility. And it's not just yes, no answers, it's detail. We want to know, yes, he can get around, but actually he needs a little bit of help with this. Yes, he's independent here, leave him to it, that's great. Sensory details, he's got good, he's all right, he's impaired, he's got macular degeneration. So it's really about filling in the 360 of that person. So let's now take a look at environment and fire, for example. Oh, nutrition and hydration. I forgot which one it was. So we go in nutrition and hydration. So you see the appetite and swallowing. You can see the feeding. It's all there. We've listed all the details available. I also want to note that you've got the different toggles. So you can, when you're doing the assessment, you can actually jump between the different areas, and you can see the tasks and the risks involved in this one. And talking about risk assessment is a really big thing when it comes to the CLOEs. It's involved in the risk management, which is really hot with the CQC, as we all know, and RAG statuses and risk assessments. These show that you're taking a proactive measure as a result of the risk you've identified. And Emily will talk you through some of the common areas where agencies score lower on this sort of thing. So That was the assessment. I'm now going to go into the medication manager. So let us check out the medication manager. Medications are the most important task to be completed by a carer. So we've worked a lot on this tool to make sure it's safe and comprehensive. In order to make sense of the tool, I've broken it down into 5 key areas. Scheduling. So your job as a care manager, it's about adding medications via the agency hub onto a care recipient's account. Number 2, monitoring. So again, care manager tool and taking the tool in the agency hub. So when you're taking the medications, they're on a person's schedule and being administered by a caregiver on a visit. As we all know, it's super important to be on top of your monitoring, i.e. monitoring the administration and checking everything is going as planned for. And if not, why? And taking the necessary steps above. Again, the responsive, effective CLOEs. Editing. If there's a mistake, a care manager will need to be able to change the record. So put that in place to be able to do that. There's also the audit trail available, linking again, responsive, effective CLOEs. Sharing. Care managers may need to share their medication information externally. Now, we do have a really great third-party access feature, and really this is all about how we want to share our details externally with third parties. If you haven't seen what we've latestly updated to the app as an existing user, please do talk to your AM and get them to show you how great it's been improved. And if you are a new client and interested, do give us a holler and we can tell you all about it because it's looking really great. But it's also important to remember that as well as that sort of real-time access, sometimes there might be a case that perhaps someone's in hospital for a long time, or heaven forbid, there's actually an investigation into the care and the medication giving, and then you need to supply all the records of all the medication that's been administered. So we've got this tool in place to be able to provide that, but within a limited remit. And then finally, alerts. I think this plays a really clear key role in the system flow. We have an alert system which applies to various different functions in the app, and I will show that to you feature to you shortly. And one of the most vital types of alerts that we can have is for medications, as alerts mean real-time aloha from the carer going, do you know what, care manager, there's something up, and so they can action it. This goes back to the safety CLOE when it comes to medication, real-time updates, transparent logging, and audit trails of what win the day. So just some of the benefits I just want to highlight to you in the scheduling. So we've currently got an NHS integration, which means that when you search for medication within the product, it comes up with the existing NHS information about that medication and the most common volume of administration amounts. So it means that it's really safe. So you're mitigating risks against spelling mistakes and things being mistyped. BNF, we use the BNF link and we have it at every single different type of medication. You can click on it and see what kind of symptoms that might happen as a result of taking the medication and side effects so that you guys can plan the care accordingly. There's a warning of a repeat. So if you are putting in a medication into the medication manager that's already in someone's system, then they will actually get a little warning saying, oh, you put this in before, just want to check that's right. We also have the CQC guidelines in our support hub on that, and our amazing new body maps, which are just fantastic. And I will highlight them to you. Again, same as before. If you haven't seen this new feature, do check it out. It's looking fantastic. We're really proud of how it's going. And then we also have got the flexibility of a free text box to put in the details of a medication that perhaps you can't do within the prescribed areas. It's also a good place that if you've got particular details on the box that you need to add, we really recommend you pop it in there. And finally, we have the nice guidelines throughout the product so that you can, again, hot link through, click straight from the product into nice guidelines to check up on anything you're doing. So it's really about mitigating risk for you guys when you're medicating. And then just a few benefits of monitoring. It's an interactive chart. You can edit, transparent edit log, and then the sharing, which is a limited print availability. And I think that's really important to say. So without further ado, let's hop on in and have a look at the medication manager. So we're in the medication manager. You can see on the left-hand side, you can add a medication. You pop it in, and as I said, you can see that the NHS integration is at work here, and you can see the different medications coming up as a result. You can pop in what kind of dosage you need to put in. So maybe it's a pill, maybe to rub it in. And then we've got the BNF information, hot link out straight to the website, and you can now see in real time exactly what the information about that medication available is, side effects, any issues that they might have. So it's really important for you to be able to see when you're doing this, that you're putting in the right care mitigations and to make sure you're providing exactly the right care that's needed when people are on medications. So we're going to go back into the medication manager. So that's how you input a medication. But let's have a look at the medication scheduling. So you put medications in. Now you've got them all in a list. So this person sadly has to take quite a lot of medications. But what's nice, you can go in and you can edit it at any time. So things change. People aren't taking the same amount of medications at one time. They might need to slow things down, speed them up. Perhaps they're taking a antibiotic, which in case may mean that they've stopped the medication, in which case you could press stop medication and it would just be removed from that list. Back into the medication main page, and you can see medication monitoring. Now, this is EMAR, the one that we all love, and it's so important, integral to your work. So it comes up as a visual icons chart. You've got all of the medications down the left-hand side. You can see when it's taken and what dosage it's taken at. And then you can see the icons, and you hover over them, and it can tell you exactly what's happened. So whether it's not been scheduled, not been recorded, or maybe it's been self-administered. There's also, not on that one, but you can see, yes, it's been recorded. No, it hasn't. And then what's nice as well is using the dates tool, you can actually pop it around to be able to change the date that you're looking at. So this is great for something like the CQC. If they say, we need to see evidence of the medication that you've given to this person over the last 6 months, you can provide it straight away. And it's there. You could either download it to the info in the bottom left, or you could print it. So we're really putting the power in your hands, as Paddy McGuinness might say, and making it really available to you. Finally, just looking at personal details. You have the allergies, your doctor, GP, pharmacist, and also we like to put in medication as support. Do we provide the medication support or do we not? So it's all there right in front of you. Finally, there's also help and support. So if you need us, we're here whenever you might need it. So that's the medications. And I just wanted to show you guys the icon chart. So this is this is something that's recently been developed a bit more. So these are some of our EMAR charts, and you can see in the table that this is just an example of how we continually develop our designs. So the green dot, fully taken, partially taken, not observed, not taken, not reported, not needed. And then we realize actually there are other areas that we need to provide information. You guys need to get granular. It's medication. It's really important. And you guys want to be able to not just have to say no record of it, because that's not a good enough justification to the CQC. Just saying, oh, we didn't record it, we don't know. There's too many questions. What's really nice now is that we have no visit, self-administered, client inactive, not scheduled. And that really signals then to the CQC, they haven't been involved in that medication, but they've told us what happened. And that's really great. And just to finish this section off, I wanted to highlight just how great our body maps for medication are. Our design teams have invested a lot of time into developing this feature, making it the most comprehensive digital maps available. They're ensuring it's super detailed, so you'll be able to show exactly where to administer cutaneous medications. Of course, if there's anything you've seen in this feature that you'd like to know more about, you can ask a question in the chat, or you can reach out to your AM and book in a demo. We'd love to know what you think about it and help you use the product wherever you can. As a reminder, our support is completely free, and you have a dedicated account manager to look after you at every step of the way, onboarding and beyond. So we're now going to move on to the Alert Manager. The Alert Manager in Birdie deals with two different types of issue. Alerts that are automatically raised when the system, by the system when a carer doesn't complete a task or forces a check-in or in one of the other areas within this list, or if a carer raises a concern. And I'll show you how they raise a concern in the app in a moment. But first, let's take a look at the Alert Manager in the Agency Hub. So here you can see the Alert Manager page, and we've got a list of all different types of alerts that could be raised and a few concerns in there too. So a care manager, when an alert is raised, depending on the settings that you have chosen for notifications, you will receive an email, an in-hub notification, and a text message to make you aware of the new alert in the system. You can click on the tool and assess the alert, ready to resolve it. Alerts all have different severity levels, statuses, and comments, so you can keep a log of what happened. Remember what we said about risk mitigation? That's really important within the KLOEs. So you can filter the alerts on the left-hand side. This is also really great, so if the CQC come in and ask what issues you've had, you can actually show them by client, date, type, and severity, which really responds to the links in the effective and responsive KLOEs. Now, let us show you how to raise a concern within the app. If a carer is on a visit and they see something they want to raise with their manager, they can do so by raising a concern. This is something that comes up in the Alert Manager in the Agency Hub, and a care manager will be able to go in and work on a solution. Only concerns go to the family app, not alerts, nothing from the previous page. If a carer has a safeguarding issue with a family member who's using the family app, then they should have an offline conversation with the care manager, and they can then log the concern, the care manager that is, as an alert retrospectively into the agency hub. So then it's all recorded, but the person in question is not alerted to the concern. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the About Me, which I'm super excited to share with you guys, as it's a bit of a coming soon surprise and delight moment. So person-centered care is a high priority, and this really is enforced by the CQC. This new feature will hit safe, people are protected from abuse and avoidable harm, effective, people's care, treatment and support achieves good outcomes, promotes a good quality of life, and is based on the best evidence available, caring, the service involves and treats people with compassion, dignity, kindness, and respect. It's responsive and well-led. The leadership, management, and governance of the organisation ensures the delivery of high-quality and person-centred care, supporting the learning and innovation, and promotes an open and fair culture. This makes sure that people are involved in and central to their care, is now recognised as a key component of developing high-quality support. In order to create a care plan for the person that's person-centred, it's really important that we collect personal information about the care recipient, such as their likes, their dislikes, how simple as how they might like their tea served. It's these aspects that really bring a care plan to life, enabling carers to get a sense of who the person is and who they're visiting and how they would like to be supported. We've heard a lot from our agencies about letting us know that they would really like to have this type of information available, even if you can't always implement it. We know this is super granular. This is proper 360 information, but far better we provide you with everything and you do your utmost to try and make it as person-centered as possible. Let's gather it. So I'm just going to show you a very wobbly recording as it was taken from our design base. As I said, this is coming soon, it's not live. And this feature is very much in development. But what you can see is that we are going through and giving a really good idea of like life history and culture and gender and preferences. And it's really about saying what beyond that person. And I think what's really nice is, you know, if I thought about being a carer and going into someone's home, having this kind of information would really help humanize it for me. And perhaps I might be a bit nervous about what we might talk about. It's hard to find a connection with someone that you've just met or that you're providing care to. So having some kind of references to life history of where they've been, what they do, what happened before they were in this situation is really, really helpful. It makes you go, you can say, oh, I see that you lived by the sea for 5 years. I've lived by the sea. And you're instantly creating that really lovely connection with the people. So we're super excited by this. And I'd actually like to do a little bit of a holler shout out that if anyone who is a current agency with us and would like to do some beta testing with us, that will be coming soon. So please do get in touch and we'll be able to let you know when that might be happening. Exciting. All right, moving on. So it's all well and good knowing how you'll be rated, but the CQC inspections are sporadic and they can come at any time. So how do you stay ready? That's a very good question. Well, it's all about the Q-score with us. So the Q-score is the Birdie's reporting system that uses data between your agency's core monitoring system and the Birdie system to present you with tangible data sets that can help in showing the CQC or local authorities how compliant you were with their requirements and then show your progress. Although we're not directly affiliated with the CQC, and I will say that again very clearly, we're not affiliated with the CQC with this, the information in the Q-score is Birdie's way of helping you become more caring, effective, well-led, person-centered, and safe as an agency. You must have a rostering integration with Birdie to benefit from the Q-score, as we need to be able to see visit data. But let me just give you a quick overview of how it works. Every week, you can get a report guiding you on where you're doing very well with reporting and filling out Birdie's care plans and where you can improve. Things like care punctuality, maybe adding some more notes, detailed tasks, resolving alerts properly. Please speak to your account manager if you're an existing client and you're not receiving those reports. We can totally sort it out for you. Every 4 weeks, they are sent a Q-score PDF via Looker from your Birdie account manager. This will be accompanied by a call from your AM who will explain the score. The data in the score is an amalgamation of the previous 4 weeks. There are 4 separate categories and 1 total amalgamated score. Each is marked out of 4 to mirror the CQC KLOEs: inadequate, requires improvement, good, and outstanding. The aim is to get a 4 outstanding, as it shows that you're compliant and you are maintaining and delivering a good quality of care. No agency will be on an overall 4 at the beginning of implementing Birdie, but we will help you get there. It's totally doable. This has been validated as well for us through actual data points. Agencies that we've seen that have had a 4 in our Q-score for responsiveness have actually gone on to get an outstanding responsiveness with the CQC. So We, as I said, I want to repeat again, we're not affiliated in this with the CQC, but we do think it's working really well and guiding people. So I've come to the end of my section and we're going to hand it back to Elle. But before I go, I want to just reiterate how much I love to hear, we love to hear how you're finding it and your day-to-day problems that you incur, whether you're an existing Birdie client or not, especially the ones who are coming in for the first time. Let us hear about what your problems are and we will show you how we can try and solve them to the best of our ability. If you're not a Birdie client, please shout, book a demo. We'd love to show you how the product can help. And if you're an existing Birdie partner, get in touch, drop your AM a line and speak with us. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, I can't hear you, Elle.
Disturbing you.
Gotcha.
I'll go again. I said, thank you very much, Ellie, for walking us through that. It was really interesting to see, how the features align and, what you can do to improve your CQC rating. And I really hope that that made sense to everyone that was listening. Now, just to wrap up, I wanted to share some things that I learned really recently when I was attending a webinar about improving your CQC rating. And in the webinar, they dissected 50 CQC reports of care businesses who'd received a requires improvement rating. Now, I'm massively condensing the findings here. And if you want to know more about them, please do feel free to reach out to us. I would love to share those with you. But essentially, there were 4 main areas that contributed to a requires improvement rating. Now, these concerned issues with records, so that was including your care plans and your staff files, medication management, risk assessments, and quality assurance. And each area here, I pulled out a direct quote from the CQC report to highlight the kinds of issues that were flagged in the report. Now, I'm not going to read them all out. You can see them on the screen. But as you can see, things like medication errors and assessments were highlighted, and that's what we've really been talking about today. And this slide is really to show you that, we're not just saying this because this is what we do. These are issues the CQC have highlighted. They have flagged these and they've actually marked agencies down because of these areas. But actually, if you've been listening to Ellie, you'll understand now how easy it is to fix these. And really what it is, it's documenting and providing evidence for everything that you're doing. And if you're using the right system, which is exactly what we've been talking about, it becomes automatic. No longer do you have to think, now I need to pull out all of these medication records for my client because the CQC wants them. They're there. You're checking them every day, you're getting your alerts and you're keeping on top of it. So I really, really wanted to highlight that to you guys just as an ending to this session. Now, the next thing is, as promised, I have created a CQC ebook, which is all about the guidance changes and how you can meet them. So it's not about the Birdie features, as Ellie has been talking about specifically. It's more about the guidance behind it. So, we're going through absolutely everything from the transitional regulatory approach to virtual inspections to digital care records, all the guidance changes and basically what they mean for you. There's some checklists in there, there's some practical information, so you can really put that into play. And what I'll do is I'll share that with you guys now. But also, if you're watching this back on repeat, I will make sure that it's accessible somewhere that you can find it and you can go and download that and read it in your own time. I hope it's really, really useful for you. We have trawled through much CQC advice, been to so many webinars to make sure that we can really get this for you. As we know, as I said in the first few slides, it's been overwhelming recently. So hopefully that helps. Now, just before we wrap up, I just wanted to say, as Ellie mentioned before, if you're not using a digital record system yet, or perhaps you're using someone different, they don't provide the things that we do, we would love to speak to you. You can book a demo at birdie.care. Just type that into your address bar and then head to book a demo, and you can speak to one of our team straight away. And they would love to hear, the issues that you're facing or how they can help. And as Ellie has been mentioning the whole way through, our support is free, and your success is our success. So what we really, really want is we want our partners to hit these CLOEs. We want to have outstanding across the board. It's not just for you, it's for us. We do it together. So if you want to reach out and, speak to someone about how we can help, we would more than love to do that for you. So again, I'll make sure that links are accessible if you're watching this back on repeat, but it's there, birdie.care, nice and easy. Now I'm going to skip through the questions And I'm going to end this by saying thank you very, very much for joining us today. If you do have any questions about, anything we've spoken about today, feel free to reach out to us on social media. You can also email emma@birdie.care. I would love to hear from you, and I'm sure Ellie would too.
Yes.
So yes, do feel free to ask any questions or to book a demo with our team, and they will walk you through exactly how everything works. And just once more, thank you very much, Ellie, for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. I love having guests because it means that I haven't got to do all this. So this has been really, really great. And just again, thank you everyone for joining us, and thank you for watching. And if we can help in any way, please do get in touch.
Give us a shout. Thank you. Bye-bye. Are you still recording?